Lena sat across the man she feared the most, Kelvin Moore. He was cold, unreadable, and deadly charming. His black suit fit him like a second skin, and his sharp eyes studied her as if she were a puzzle he needed to solve. "Marry me," he said, his deep voice slicing through the silence. Lena's heart slammed against her chest. Marry him? The ruthless billionaire? This had to be a joke. I don't understand," she stammered. Kelvin leaned back in his chair. "It's simple. You need money. I need a wife. Let's help each other." Lena clenched her fists. She had debts piling up, and her sick mother needed surgery. But a contract marriage? What was he really after? "Why me?" she whispered. A smirk crossed his lips. "Because I don't trust anyone else." Lena knew saying yes would change her life forever. But saying no? That wasn't an option. Lena stared at the thick contract in front of her. 1 year. No emotions. No questions. No breaking the rules. Kelvin tapped his fingers on the table. "Time is money, Lena. Sign it." Her fingers trembled as she held the pen. This wasn't a fairy tale. It was a deal with the devil himself. "What happens if I break the rules?" she asked. Kelvin's expression darkened. "Then you'll regret ever meeting me." A shiver ran down her spine. She had no choice. Taking a deep breath, she signed her name. Kelvin took the contract and smiled. "Welcome to your new life, Mrs. Moore." The wedding was perfect on the outside, but cold on the inside. Lena stood in a white gown, forced to smile as cameras flashed. Kelvin held her waist possessively, playing the role of a devoted husband. But when they got home, the real Kelvin returned, distant, controlling, unreadable. "This is your room," he said, opening a door. Lena frowned. "Separate rooms?" He gave a mocking smile. "Did you expect a honeymoon?" Her heart sank. She was a wife in name only, but deep down, she couldn't shake the feeling that Kelvin was hiding something, and she was determined to find out what it was. One night, Lena heard a phone call. "I told you, no one can know about her." Kelvin's voice was sharp. Her breath caught. "Who was her?" Kelvin ended the call and turned, his eyes locking onto hers. "Eavesdropping, Mrs. Moore." His voice was dangerously soft. Lena's pulse raced. She had just stepped into a dangerous game, and there was no turning back. Determined to uncover the truth, Lena began exploring the house when Kelvin was away. One night, she noticed a locked door near his office. It was the only door that remained shut at all times. Curiosity gnawed at her. What was he hiding in there? She tried the handle. Locked. But just as she turned away, she heard something, a faint sound, almost like a whisper. Her heart pounded. Someone was inside. The next day, she stole Kelvin's spare keys while he was in the shower. Her hands shook as she inserted the key into the lock. The door creaked open, and what she saw inside made her gasp. In the dimly lit room, a young girl sat on the floor, hugging her knees. She looked barely 15, her dark eyes wide with fear. Lena stepped closer. "Who are you?" The girl flinched. "He told me not to talk to you." Lena's blood ran cold. Who was she? And why was Kelvin keeping her here? Suddenly, a sharp voice behind her made her freeze. "I warned you, Lena." She turned slowly, her heart hammering. Kelvin stood in the doorway, his face unreadable, his eyes blazing with danger. Lena confronted Kelvin, demanding answers. He sighed, rubbing his temple. "She's my sister. I've been hiding her to protect her." Lena's brows furrowed. "Protect her from what?" Kelvin hesitated before saying, "From our father." Shivers ran down Lena's spine. The truth was deeper than she imagined. Kelvin revealed that their father was a ruthless man who had spent years trying to find Mira. He wanted her gone because she was the only one who knew the dark truth about his illegal dealings. Kelvin had hidden her away to keep her safe, but now their father had discovered her whereabouts. Lena's mind raced. Was Kelvin truly protecting Mira, or was there another reason he had kept her locked away? As she pieced things together, doubts crept in. What if Kelvin wasn't as innocent as he claimed? Kelvin's father's men arrived at the house before they could escape. Gunshots rang outside. The tension was suffocating. Kelvin pulled Lena and Mira to the back exit, but they were cornered. His father stepped inside, a cruel smirk on his lips. "You should have stayed hidden, boy." Lena's pulse pounded. Mira clung to her, trembling. She couldn't let this end badly. Kelvin lunged at his father, fighting to protect his family. Lena saw her chance and grabbed a gun from one of the fallen guards, aiming with shaking hands. With a single shot, Lena ended it. Kelvin's father collapsed. The police arrived just in time. Kelvin held Mira close, his tough exterior finally breaking. Lena stared at him, realizing something. This wasn't just a contract anymore. Kelvin met her gaze. "Stay," he said. For the first time, Lena knew she had found something real. If you were in Lena's shoes, would you have walked away or stayed? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the story. See you in the next one.